Welcome to Rome. This is The Bittersweet Life with Katie Sewell and Tiffany Parks. Hello, this is The Bittersweet Life. I'm Katie Sewell.
I'm Tiffany Parks.
Katie in Seattle. Tiffany in Arizona? Question mark. No, Tiffany is on vacation with her family right now. So joining us stateside, this could be the first time we've been in the same time zone in
a long time.
A long time. It's been very strange because Tiffany texts me occasionally. We pass work back and forth over WhatsApp, and a couple of times while she's been on vacation, she's texted me at like 10 p.m. and I'm like, what's going on? And then I remember that she's actually on my time zone, which
yes.
makes a lot of sense. A lot more sense.
Yeah, it is funny being on a different, we'll get into this with our guests. Let's introduce our guest.
That's the really great news. Not only do we have Tiffany in the same time zone, we have a guest joining us today, and we're going to let her introduce herself. So please, who is this mystery person who's joining us?
Well, hi all. My name is Laurel Attanasio, and I am not on the same time zone as you ladies, but I am on the Eastern Standard Time. Yes, which is also rare for me. So I own and operate a small luxury travel company that often has a component of yoga or some other activity, like a physical activity. Trying hiking for next year, a hiking trip as well. And then I also operate and manage trips for other companies too, other travel companies, other yoga companies. So I am often traveling somewhere around the world, but primarily in Italy.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Where are you in the States right now?
I'm in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. That is where I've been born and raised, and that's my home base when I'm here in the U.S.
So. And this is your the second time on the show. This is your second time on our show.
Yes.
So of course I didn't go through and find out what number of episode that is for people who want to go back who maybe didn't hear your first episode with us. But we will put it on the show notes. So if you're listening, go down to the show notes and you can find a link to that episode.
Yeah, it's been a bit.
Maybe it's like 2 years.
Yeah.
At least. Yeah, I would say at least 2 years.
All right. Well, where do we want to begin, Tiffany?
Well, I had a long chat with Laurel the other day, a couple weeks ago, actually, now that it was, and we talked about a lot of fun things. But one of the most interesting things I think that came up was the fact that she now owns a home in Italy as a non-Italian citizen. Not yet, I should say. Her husband is an Italian citizen, but not born and raised in Italy. And there's so many complications and so much bureaucracy that come with owning a home in a foreign country and then trying to live there, but not all the time. So I thought that would be an interesting thing to talk about because I know that a lot of our listeners are retired or semi-retired, or maybe they have, they have like kids and grandkids in the States and they're like, I'm not ready to move to Italy forever because I'm going to miss my kids too much. I just want to go for 3 or 4 months of the year. And so I thought you might have a lot of insight for people like that.
Yeah. Or they have that fantasy like someday, I'm going to own a house. I'm going to live half the year here and I'm going to live half the year here.
I mean, that's the dream, isn't it?
For a lot of people, for sure. So is it as dreamy as it sounds, Laurel?
Well, I think that it's becoming dreamy. I will say the last 2 years have been quite challenging, a lot of learning curves. And if people try to compare it to buying a home in the US, it's not that that's so easy either, but it's not that simplified. One, that we're familiar with that process, most people, but there's just so many different aspects that you need to learn and understand, and so many things you have to pay for that we don't pay for in the US in the process.
Like the notary
fees. Oh yes,
oh
Tiffany,
my gosh,
I
the
know
notary
all about
fees
them.
are
And
so
the 22
painful.
22% VAT tax on all those notary fees.
Yes. Katie, the notary fees, and for our listeners, I mean, what is it? 5 grand, 6 grand? Just for the notary?
I think it's a percentage of the total cost of the sale.
When we went to buy our apartment, the notary literally apologized to us for how much he was charging us. He literally said, "I'm sorry, but this is what it costs, and I'm not legally allowed to charge any less. I am sorry."
Wow.
Oh my goodness. Well, no
Where,
one apologized to us.
well, do you guys have any, where does that money go? I mean, obviously, here in the States, we have to use a notary in several often situations, but
Goes into
I
their pockets. That's their income.
Yeah, I think also that it is more, they have more of a legal like aspect than our notaries. Our notaries are just certifying paper, really. Like
mm,
they're saying it's legit. I think they actually do need to look into the
Yes, they do.
background of everything.
They study the contract very, very carefully.
Yes,
And if
yes.
something goes wrong, they are liable. They can be liable.
Correct. Even when we sent our portion of the deposit for the house, we sent that to the notary so
mm.
that it was in a partial bank account and it was not, in the bank of the seller, or the real estate agent for the seller or something. It went to the notary. So I think they have a lot more responsibility than our notaries.
Were you going around with a realtor like we would think of in the States, where like you and your husband are in Italy and you're just seeing as many properties as you can, or what were you
Yes,
doing?
we did that for years. I mean, we looked for years, and then we looked. I mean, not all over Italy, but a fair part, different parts of Sicily, the North, Campania, and then ended up finding this house. But we were going around with a real estate agency that I won't name who they are, but they have a bigger like reach of all over Italy. And then when we finally became interested in this house, there was some shady stuff going on. And we decided that we have lawyers that have been helping, that have helped my husband with his citizenship. They are now helping me with mine. And they have a real estate department or, within their firm. So we decided to go with them to seek legal advice. And they actually told us to walk away from the sale because it seemed a little shady. It was
Shady.
as
How?
in,
I feel like we
How?
have to know.
so one, we went to see a house the house we ended up buying. Well, one, we arrived to see another house in Maratea, in Basilicata. And when we arrived, she said that it was sold.
Mm.
Well, I did some digging and I actually found the owner because we were renting in the neighborhood. And a woman was like, "No, I actually know the owner. He's friends with my father. It's not sold." So that was that. And then so there was the bait and switch to go see the house that we did end up buying. And we were like, "No, it's way too expensive for us. We can't afford this. This is out of our price range. We told you that we can't look at houses in this price range." And she was like, "No, no, no, they'll come down. They'll come down significantly." And we were like, "Okay, we're here. Now we can't see the other house,
Mm.
so fine, we'll go." And she told us the furniture was included. And not that we loved all the furniture, but it's like a 4,500, 5,000 square foot house.
Wow.
Any furniture that we could keep, we needed dining tables and chairs and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
plates and whatever. So she said everything would be included. So we go see the house, we fall in love with it, we leave, we sit on it for a few days, and then we call her and tell her that we're interested in discussing further the purchase. And then she said that, "Oh no, I never said that it didn't include the furniture. And no, I didn't say they would talk like they
Ugh.
would go down that." I found everything in writing from her and I was just forwarding her the emails. And you're like, this is so uncomfortable. Now
Mm.
we don't know what's real, is this an appropriate price, and all these things. So we actually walked away from the sale. And in the meantime, we talked to a lawyer and she said, "I don't trust her. I would actually just stop even talking to her at all and hold off." That was December of 2023. Yeah. And then in 2024, that June, we were back in Meritea actually just for vacation. And I said, actually, no, Castellabate, south of the Amalfi, absolutely beautiful if you've never been there. I was like, we're only 2 hours away from the house. why don't I reach out to the lawyers? Why don't the lawyers reach out to the selling agent and see if the house is still on the market? If the house is still on the market and I can change our flights and it's not going to cost us much, would you be willing to stay another few days, to my husband? And he was like, okay, if you can do all these things. I called United, and United actually gave us money back on our flight because they wanted us to change from like Sunday to Wednesday or something. There must have been
That's
more
a
space.
that
Yeah,
sounds
yeah.
like a miracle.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, hon, they're going to actually give us money back. And
It's a sign.
and so yeah, and then the real estate agent was like, actually, the selling agent said that you can come see it in 2 days. And so we drove down, and it was the beginning of June, and the house doesn't have air conditioning, but it's
Oof.
set higher up in the mountains. So you get down to the beach in a few minutes, but the way it sits, I was really concerned that it would be like an oven in there. Well, it was nice and cool. Like we walked there and there was a heat wave going on, so that was one of my biggest concerns. But the walls are like massive, 5 feet deep, concrete walls. So they just keep the house really cool. And because of the way the mountain, where it sits on the mountain, you have clouds that come in from the mountain that go back and forth. So it keeps it relatively cool even outside. The temperature difference from down at the beach up there is, I don't know, 15 degrees. So we went and saw it. We went back and just we were like, this is it. This is it. And the selling agent agreed to, the lawyer discussed with the selling agent all the things that we wanted. And at that point, the house, I think, was sitting on the market for a few years. So
Yeah, I was gonna
I
say,
think,
wow.
so I think us waiting, and then the sellers realizing, okay, this has been on the market, for a while now and willing to negotiate. We also lucked out that the exchange rate was was really good then, almost equal. I mean,
It
and that's
was
something
a
that
couple
people
years
that are,
ago.
yeah, and if that's something that people, if they're really considering buying, you have to consider all the taxes, the 22% tax, even on the commission for the selling agent, 22%
That's
on
a
top
lot.
of that. So when you add these 22%, 22%, 20, like on so many of these, different fees and different things, it really adds a lot of money, like a significant amount. And then you have to consider the exchange rate
Hmm.
on top of that, which
Well,
right
Yeah,
now is
it's
terrible.
terrible now. It's getting
It's,
better. It looks
it's
like it's
getting better.
getting better.
I know, Tiffany,
Slowly,
but I
slowly,
watch it
slowly.
obsessively, not just for not just for the house, but for my business. And every time in the last, so many months, every time I think it's starting to get better, it just gets worse again. So I don't want to get myself too excited. I don't want to
well,
get,
when you,
it's
I feel you. I feel you.
I have a question. So you guys haven't not moved into the house yet,
not permanently,
not
no. I
permanently.
mean,
They were there. She was there when we had our conversation a
yeah.
couple weeks ago. We had a video call. She was sitting out on the balcony
Yeah.
of her house. She was
Nice.
staying, and she was there, and she turned the camera around and showed me the beautiful view. It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Well,
Just put a
one
pool
thing I
in.
always wonder about is, when I think about, if I ever had the money to have a place in two places, be it abroad or just somewhere else in the country, or even in my own city for that matter, I always have that weird feeling about having another place that's empty when I'm not there. How do you feel about the fact that you have this house and then like half the year it's just sitting there? The sun rises, the sun sets, the house is empty, the dust motes are going across, whatever, however you imagine it. How do you feel about the property?
Oh, Katie, it breaks my heart. I mean, like, that last day, I'm walking around like touching the walls. I'm like, I'll be back. I'm very dramatic about it. So no. And it's another thing for people to consider is that if you don't have your citizenship, you can't stay, despite owning a home, you can't stay as long as you want, unless if you apply for some type of visa or, and that's not easy either. So people need to consider like that you can't just stay as long as you want, So, but it breaks my heart. I mean, it's hard when we're not here either, but
I would
it's
worry
so
about,
special.
I don't know, thieves, vandals,
Well,
squatters. Like,
we do have cameras all over the property.
Mhm.
But not only that, we have a full-time employee. I mean, it's not just a home, it's a 5-acre farm. We produce our own olive oil, we produce our own wine. it's a massive property. Someone needs to be there all the time. So he's there. He's there pretty much every day. So, and it's a very small community, and they all know me as the crazy American that runs up and down the mountains like every day. So they all know me now. So I do feel very, very safe there, but I also feel very safe that the property is okay.
That's good. See, for me, that would be the biggest worry, would be like, did somebody break in?
Yeah, or having to pay a property manager or something like that to keep an eye on things.
Well, that was another learning curve. We closed in December 2024. That's another thing. People need to consider how long the closing process. Here it's like 30 days. There it was like 7 months by the time all the paperwork was done, by all the things were updated. It was not a quick process whatsoever. But when we got there we went for Christmas that year because we closed like December 15th. And my husband was so funny. Like you can't buy airfare until we close because he's like, it will jinx us. Like we really can't. And I'm like, oh my God, we're going to spend so much money on this airfare. And we did. And I'm like, but he was like, you cannot buy it until all the paperwork is signed. And we did have our attorneys doing everything for us. So we had power of attorney, like they had, that taken care of. So we didn't have to be there. Um, it actually would have cost more, I believe they said, because they would legally have to have a professional translator there to make sure that we understand the process. By sending our lawyers, we actually avoided that fee. And that was like a package price for everything to be taken care of for the entire process. But we arrive in December 2024 before Christmas, and we're all excited. And the selling agent comes to welcome us, and Stefano, who works for us full time there, he's there, and we go in, and they have poinsettias out for us. They have Christmas lights up. I mean, they did like just to welcome us and make us feel. It was beyond. And but like during the week, like after Christmas and the holidays, Michele, the selling agent, he's like, "Oh, we really should go to the accountant to talk about Stefano." And we agreed prior that Stefano would continue to work with us. But I think we thought in our minds it was like someone like a property manager, like here, that they would probably manage our property, other properties. And, we asked how much it would be, and the sellers lied, or they were really underpaying them. Either or. And they were paying them just cash.
Oh,
And
God.
he decided he wants to be paid officially, which I don't blame him. And we want to do the right thing. It wasn't that we didn't want to, but we were like, we just bought this massive house in Italy. Now we have to go to an accountant. And mind you, my husband doesn't speak Italian. So I'm in this accounting office with the selling agent, Stefano, who now, works for us. And I'm trying to translate all conversation to my husband. And I'm like, my eyes are just filling with tears. And he's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, they're saying we should pay him double, and then we have to pay his employment tax." And I'm just sitting there
The
like,
employment tax, for those
the
who are
imps.
listening who don't know, and the imps and everything, if you have an employee, correct me if I'm wrong, Laurel, because I've never had one, but I've been one, the employer has to pay almost the equivalent of their employee's salary to the government as well, like on top of. It's almost double, right?
I wouldn't say it's double, but it's a
Like
significant
maybe
amount.
50% more because
Yeah,
it's all of
maybe.
the contributions. It's all, I mean, it's the hugest headache. Like I would do anything to avoid ever having to have an employee in Italy because no, it's insane. And I mean, having been an employee in Italy, you have incredible benefits. Like the benefits are incredible. The onus is all on the employer. This is why it's so difficult to open small businesses in Italy because it just sucks you dry. Like it's
I know,
unimaginable
Tiffany.
to an American. I know you know. I know you know, but our listeners might not know.
Oh,
It's
I know.
it's intense and like the amount of holidays, paid holidays, and
The
pay
13th month,
the 13th
13th
month.
month paycheck.
Yes, every December you get an extra paycheck.
Goodness gracious me. I
Yeah.
mean,
So
clearly, like, this is early days. But do you ever like stress out and be like, oh my gosh, 10 years from now, will we have made the worst mistake ever by buying this piece of property?
I think that in the beginning, I actually really questioned myself because stuff like this, I was like, oh my gosh, not only do we have a mortgage in Italy, now we have a full-time employee. And in Italy, for Italian citizens and residents, even though my husband is a citizen, but you don't mortgage the whole price like you do here, like the cost of the house. We were only able to mortgage 50%, so we had to give a huge amount of money. So I'm like, over the first few months, I'm like, what did I do to us?
Yeah.
And
Did you ever think maybe I should just go to Italy every, if you love Italy, go every year and just rent a place every year,
Or
like
buy
make
a
your life
condo,
easier?
like rather
I
than
know,
you know,
I know. I
a
I will say
vineyard.
now, I think we are both, I mean, I don't think I know. We're both very happy. And this past time, I think almost every day we were like, we made such a great decision. Like we really, really did. Like we love it. Our family came for the first time, well, my husband's family. So it was 12 of us in the house, which despite what I do for a living and entertaining people and hosting people all the time, in my own house is definitely new to me and it was a little bit more difficult probably than running one of my own trips. But it was a lot of fun and they were like, oh, it's so beautiful, it's so beautiful, it's so beautiful, and just the surrounding area. We are happy to also be somewhere that it's not touristy yet. Hopefully it stays that way. And
Mm-hmm.
so, and that, for a long time we looked, even I have a lot of friends in Sestri Levante and Comoli and like that whole area, but it's so expensive that we would have spent 1 million on an apartment
Right.
there.
Mm-hmm.
So we couldn't afford it. And my husband said to me, are you sure you would want to live somewhere that you work so much?
Mm.
Like, isn't it nice to separate the two? And I do spend so much time there. So it's nice. I still get to go there. And then
Mm-hmm.
I have this house. I don't regret it at all. And I hope that we never feel that way. Um, and we hope to be able to spend more time there. And that's the end goal is to be able to spend most of our time there as we get older and less time here.
Okay, well, let's pause for a moment and take a quick break. Imagine one of your friends, someone you really like to spend time with, calls you up and says, want to come to Rome with me? Not only that, she says, I'm going to plan everything. All you have to do is book your flight. I will find us an amazing hotel to stay in. I will plan every single day out to make sure we see some of the most incredible sights in the city. I'll make sure we have a knowledgeable tour guide to take us around and explain the amazing things that we're seeing. I'll organize a rooftop aperitivo with a view of the city at sunset for our first night. I'll arrange a meal. I'll even get us a chauffeured car to drive us into town from the airport. All you have to do is show up. What would you do? Would you jump at the chance? That is what Katie and I are offering. We like to think that we are, in a way, your friends. We hope that if you listen to this show, that means you'd like to spend time with us, you enjoy our company. And we are offering something really special that we believe is different from any other organized trip to Rome that is out there. It is 6 days of exploration, discovery, history, beauty, joy, pleasure in an amazing location, one of the most beautiful hotels in the city. And we go deep. We're not afraid to go deep. We will take you every single day of the trip on a 3-hour walking tour that will delve into some of the mysteries, and we'll introduce you to some art and some artists that you probably wouldn't have discovered on your own. We'll take you to areas of the city that will feel like you're in a small town. You won't feel like you're in the crowded, bustling city that you might see on social media, but rather you'll be walking down narrow cobblestone alleys that only the locals know about. We will share with you all of our favorite restaurants, bars, cafes, and ice cream shops. We will spend a couple of really memorable meals together. And most importantly, we'll get to know each other with the backdrop of this amazing city. If that sounds like something you're interested in, it's happening the first week of November this year, 2026. Email us at bittersweetlifepodcast@gmail.com if you want to know more. We will be happy to answer all of your questions. And you can also visit our website, thebittersweetlife.net, which has a lot of additional information. We only have 4 rooms left on this trip because it's a very, very small, intimate group. Don't be surprised if by the end of the trip, not only have you gotten to know Rome extremely well, but you might have some new friends too. So get in touch with us soon. We can't wait to take you to Rome.
Well, before we run out of time, I want to talk about basically the idea of taking people on these big adventures, which is something you do, it's something we do, and not like so much the nitty gritty of it, but like the feeling of what it's like to do such a thing. You've been taking people on yoga adventures mainly for how many years now?
15, over 15 now. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's been a bit.
And you're doing it twice a year, is that right?
I do typically like five to six of my own. And then for other companies, like I mentioned before, I'll be in Sestri Levante with a big group, like a travel company in September. And there's other yoga companies that are interested. I will run the logistics and stuff for them, and I'm always on the ground.
How many months of the year would you estimate, or weeks, months or weeks of the year, are you on retreat? Not just in Italy, but like on retreat.
I mean, every year varies significantly. It's kind of interesting because sometimes like a company will hire me to do trips for an entire month, like back to back. But I would say between 2 and 3 months.
Wow.
I'm with groups. And then all the rest of the time is planning them all.
Planning.
Yeah. Because all those little tiny details, I do all of those. I don't work with a bigger travel company that I say, oh, I'm bringing a group to, Sicily. Can you plan all the stuff? I plan all the stuff.
Yeah,
So
we certainly know about that. So we've done a Roman adventure now for the past 4 years. Is that right?
This is the 4th year.
Yeah,
This is the fourth
4
year.
years where we've taken people. Yeah, this will be the 4th year. You're right. Where we take people to see secret hidden sites in Rome over a week-long trip. And of course, we've been doing this podcast. Like, if you're one of Laurel's fans and you've never heard this show before, we've been doing this show for over a decade.
Well over
a decade.
13 years at least.
13 years. Gosh, I can't even believe that. 13 years. So, and we've only done this trip 3 years, and this year will be the 4th. So clearly we spent years and years doing this podcast without ever thinking, what if we were to meet people in person? And so it was like a long coming idea. But what do you remember about like those early days where we were like, what if we invited people to come and spend a week in Rome with us?
Well, Katie, as you remember, it was your idea. I will give all the props to Katie for coming up with the idea of doing this trip. Because I was sort of like, let's do something in the countryside. Let's do a retreat. And you're like, no, our show is Rome. We got to do it in Rome. And you were totally right. Although who knows if we may branch out in future.
Yes.
But first few years. For me, the actual planning process, I remember, Laurel, I don't know if you remember, but I was taking you and your friends on a tour through Rome, a secret Rome tour.
The secret Rome tour, yes.
And I said, we're planning. It was almost like a secret because we hadn't announced it on the show yet. I was like, we're planning a retreat ourselves, a Rome trip, and I shared it with you. And I don't know that it was real, Katie, for me until we were on that terrace meeting people. Mm-hmm. I knew it was happening. We had everybody's contact info and they sent in their deposits and we were booking their rooms and booking, planning the tours. But I don't think it was real to me until we were up there with all of those people. And it was such a trip because especially the first year, but every single year we've had people who were sort of, long time listeners to the show. We always get a few people who are sort of friends of friends or, came about it in a different way, came from someone telling them about the trip or telling them about us. But we always have a few people who are longtime listeners of the show who, they've heard Katie and I talk about Rome so much on this show because, this is not a Rome show. We don't sit and talk about Rome every day, but we do talk about Rome.
Almost as a muse, really.
It's our muse. Yeah, it's a show's muse. We talk about Rome a lot. I talk about it a lot on the bonus episodes. And Katie comes to Rome and we record shows out in the city. So to get to take our listeners to places that they had heard us talk about, I mean, it was very special and a little surreal.
Yeah, it really was. I don't know if you've had this experience, Laurel, but like every year, really, it goes from being names that we have because we're like keeping track of who's paid what and what their email address is if we need to tell them something.
When their flight's coming
when
in.
their flights, yeah, we have like the little spreadsheet of like when do they arrive? When do we need to send a car to pick them up? All that stuff. And it's under these names. And a lot of these people we might have communicated with a lot. Like I might have written them a letter at one point, but I've never been in their presence. Like I have no sense of like, who is Karen? I know Karen because I've written to her maybe, but I don't know Karen. You know what I mean? It just is such a strange and wonderful experience to finally be like, oh my gosh, like here we are together walking down the streets of Rome and I actually understand your presence and you understand mine in a different way. It's just, I don't know. Do you have that same experience? It's just
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think after doing this for so long, there's a lot of people that come back on trips. Most of my people are returning customers or guests, but they always, or a lot of the time, they'll bring new friends or their daughter or their mother or, so it's always really fun. Like after a while, you do all this communication. And because I do so many trips every year, I start to forget who's actually on each list, like until I show up. Like I can't even like envision who's going to be there. And then I'm like, oh, that's right. You're on this trip too. I forgot. And it's very exciting, like that first.
There's also something, I don't know if you have experienced this as well, or how many people are in your groups, because we do very small groups. We usually have between 10 and 12 people. And every single time it surprises me how the group just fits together and these personalities and I mean, not to say that everybody is, of a similar personality type. Often they're not, but they just find a kind of symbiosis together.
Yeah. Well, you have that connection and the fact, I say that like on my Instagram or something, it says luxury travel for yogi minded people, because not necessarily everyone needs to do yoga on the trip. And plenty of people come with their friends or their spouses and they don't want to do yoga, but we have that connection. And your people have that connection of the love of Rome and the podcast. And so that they find that, relationship together, like it comes easy. And that is my favorite part, is that people become dear friends. I mean, best of friends. It's funny. Some people come and I'm going to their wedding a couple years later and other people on these trips are going to the wedding too, or, people are having parties and we're getting invited, or they all start traveling together. It's my easiest way of marketing, because once someone says they're coming, then they're all texting someone else to say, I'm going to Greece. Are you going? I'm going to Vietri. Are you going?
We've had some, because we get a lot of Seattleites, because Katie has a big community in Seattle and a lot of our listeners are in Seattle. And so we've had a couple of years where there've been meetups after the fact in like a Seattle, local Seattle restaurant.
Absolutely.
And people are there. I never get to go to those, but
No.
I just had a group in Beatrice Mare in the Amalfi Coast, and I was down at our house afterwards, and I'm getting texts from people that met on the trip that they were already out together for drinks. So it's just like
That's
it was
lovely.
really cute. They're sending me photos, and so it's really nice the connection that is created.
Yeah, I think like one of the things that was sort of shocking to us too is, when we were going from planning this, so I don't know. Tiffany, do you want to give like a quick snapshot of what the Rome trip is, just so people know what I'm talking about really quick? Like,
Oh my gosh, yeah. So it's about a week. It's 6 nights, and we kick it off with this gorgeous aperitivo, or what did you call aperitivo in English, Katie? For I don't know what the
I
English
don't
word for
know,
that would
like
be.
welcoming
Happy
reception.
hour.
Yeah,
Yeah, happy
reception.
I
hour.
I always
Yeah.
say it's Italian's better way of doing happy hour.
Yeah,
Is
not
the
quite as
way I
cheesy.
Super.
Yeah.
Yeah. We do it on the rooftop of this beautiful hotel where we all stay with a view, literally a 360-degree view of Rome. It is literally 360 degrees because you've got the Gianicolo Hill on one side with the huge fountain and then all of Rome sweeping around. And we do that at sunset and we have Prosecco and really delicious food. That's when we meet our guests and they meet each other for the first time. And then we just start a week of adventure. We do 5 days of touring through Rome. We usually spend about half the day together, and then the other half of the day people can explore. We focus on secret Rome. We feel like there's plenty of people who are standing around the Trevi Fountain or inside the Colosseum. So we decide we do other sites and we do really incredible, amazing because the Rome is endless. It's inexhaustible. You can keep going and going and you dig deeper and deeper and you'll never run out of places to see.
I think we aim for that sort of like spine tingling feeling you get as a kid where you're like going through a secret door, that kind of feeling where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm
Absolutely.
going down in a secret passageway.
Or in addition, the going back in time for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
It's, oh
Time
my gosh,
travel.
who touched these stones? How many
Yeah.
thousands of years ago did Caesar walk on these stones? Did somebody die right on this piece of stone? And it's exciting. It's exciting. It's moving. We go deep in the history, but we make it fun. And we end with a big blowout dinner in a wonderful local trattoria at the end. And it's a really fun week.
Yeah. So for me, like why I wanted you to explain that is like two things that it feels like to me, I guess, is like if we're going from just the week itself. For me, I always kind of think of life as a narrative arc in some ways. And, so when you go through that like rush of that opening aperitivo and then like the kind of rhythm of the week, like kind of in the middle of the week, we often do a live podcast together and we talk about like really deep things and that changes the vibe of the group in a really lovely way. And then we kind of end at that dinner where it's like, you're all strangers. And then at the dinner, you don't want to leave because you're like, that is the end of this amazing narrative arc. So that's like one feeling that I like about this sort of travel. But the other thing, like going back to when we were just theoretically going like, what if we did a trip? And Laurel, you've been doing this a lot longer, so maybe that theoretical feeling, surely you can still remember what if we did a trip
Absolutely.
feeling.
I do remember it.
Yeah.
Like
And
I
so,
was walking with a friend and she was like, we should do a yoga retreat. And I was like,
what?
really? And that's how it all
And the rest is
started.
history.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like in that theoretical thing, because like once you go, okay, yeah, maybe we should do a yoga trip, or yeah, we should do a trip to Secret Rome, and you actually start planning it, and then it comes to be. The unexpected thing for me was how. I mean, I knew it would be interesting and fun. I didn't realize how rewarding it would be. In that, you know what I mean? Like I
Well, you're
thought,
giving something special to people. I think we all we have limited time. I always say people have like limited time and limited money and resources, and you're giving them something to remember for the rest of their lives. I think it's very special.
yeah,
It's,
yeah, that's exactly it. And so many people have told us, and they've probably told you too, like, this is the best trip I've ever taken in my life. And that
yeah,
is, I don't know. Can you get a better compliment than that?
no.
I don't think so. I mean, we can aim higher, Tiffany. I don't know what you'd be aiming for.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted to just say that I looked over your itinerary and stuff, and I think what's great about it is, and what I also try to do, even with having, a yoga class in the morning, but also having that nice balance of structure of things that you include and then free time. Because then it's really nice that then the group is really excited to get back together because they got to go do the one thing they really wanted to do. Um, and then also providing some unique things that people wouldn't do necessarily on their own, I think is also like such a good component to have. It's one of the reasons why, for now I've been doing them over 10 years now, and Sestri Levante and Camoli have become more popular. And I think I remember Katie, I saw a post you hiked there, not, I don't know,
Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, a bit
I
ago.
did.
So, but it's become more popular. But when 10 years ago, nobody knew where it was. And, being near the Cinque Terre, people are often like, oh no, I just want to go to the Cinque Terre. And I'm like, I'm telling you, this is better. Stay here with me in Sestri Levante and Comoli. So trying to provide those secret aspects of Italy is just fun. And I also wanted to add, if people have already been to Rome, you can never have enough of Rome. I mean, and I brought friends that were on the trip with me on a Sicily trip on the secret Rome tour with Tiffany, and then my husband and I did the Caravaggio tour with you then after. And I often send people who are coming on my trips and they're having days in Rome on trips with Tiffany, and everyone's always so excited to tell me about them and how much fun they had. And
that's so sweet.
most likely these people are right. Most times they've already been to Rome. So it's not that they haven't been there and they just tried to fill this in. They want to learn more and see more and do more. So I
Yeah.
think
Yeah, my favorite tours, and I mean, I'm beyond the trip with Katie, but when I'm doing a tour, a private tour, 3-hour tour, my favorite tours are when the people have been there before. And they're like, yeah, we don't need to go to the Trevi Fountain. We don't need to go to the Spanish Steps. We want to see, something different. We want to go off the beaten track. What always touches my heart is when people book the Caravaggio tour with me. And I say, so you booked my Caravaggio tour. Are you big Caravaggio fans? And they say, no, we just know that that's your passion.
oh, that
Yeah.
is very sweet. Now my
That,
husband's obsessed, so that's why
yes.
we booked it.
Well, and that passion is show like that passion shows so much. Like Tiffany does this. I mean, every time I've been on with Tiffany talking about Caravaggio for 13 years or whatever. But but it's not like she has a stock speech. Like she gets so moved, and I mean, Laurel, you've seen it. Like she gets so moved by it, and like the storytelling aspect of it, and like what did he feel, and how did he express himself, and what did he believe, and whether you care about him or not, you're like all of a sudden, I don't know,
You're invested.
You're invested. Yeah, you're like
Yeah.
weeping even.
I'll
Because
tell you that tour changes. I mean, I add to it every time I do that tour, or at least every year. I'm always learning more about Caravaggio constantly. And so I always add to it, and there's always more, and it goes deeper every single year. But I
So
have
you're telling
had,
us we have to do it again.
yeah,
Not yet.
but I have had to really force myself to not cry in a certain moment in that tour because I will tear up if I let myself. So I have to, it's hard. It's discipline. I have to think
But I
about
think it's
something else.
okay to cry. I cry on my trips all the time. People are happy or people are, showing how excited they are. I love that. And none of it ever gets old to me, just like you're saying. And when
Yeah.
I was just in Vietri with that group, I'm teaching underneath the lemon trees and I'm looking around and I'm like, how could this ever get old or
Yeah.
boring? Like this is just so beautiful. And being
And
able to
it's,
share that with people and not take them to the like the Positanos and take them to places that they probably have never heard of in the Amalfi Coast.
and it's so easy to have a disappointing trip. Like even if you go somewhere amazing,
Yes.
like Paris or Rome or the Amalfi Coast, it's easy to have a trip that just kind of feels like you're doing what everybody's doing and you're just following, a Rick Steves itinerary. No offense to Rick Steves, but you're just
I
following the
understand.
same trodden path and you're not really seeing anything special. And even if you do see really amazing things, which I'm sure you do if you're in Rome or, you don't really understand it. You don't get it. And it's a privilege to be able to make people's trips amazing.
Yeah.
And
because
we're lucky.
I was thinking when we need to wrap it up, but I was thinking because obviously we're like, it's amazing. We could just go on for like 6 years, and everyone's like, okay, I do have to get on to my life. But I was thinking, like, when you were saying, Rome never gets old, I do think that there is a type of travel to Rome, and you know this from other parts of Italy too. There is a type of travel to Rome that does get old. It can be hot and crowded, and if you don't know what you're doing, you can be like, oh, Rome was cool, but man, it was a lot.
I also think that the time of year that you picked is just such a great time of year to be there as well. I've been there plenty of times in November, and it's
First week in November is when we're doing it this
really
year.
nice. It's a nice time. It's not too hot. It's not too crowded. It's a good time.
Yeah, and we know how to avoid the crowds, so that also helps, just like you do. You know where to put people in a special pocket so that they're not just like stuck, among the hordes in front of the Trevi Fountain, trying to breathe.
Well, now you can't even get near it, right? The last time
right.
I walked by it is what they have it all ticketed up and
you can walk past it. You can walk past it. You just can't walk down the steps, which
No, I saw it and it just made me so sad, but I understand.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we should leave it there. I'm going to pass it to both of you, just in case anyone listening wants to go on either of these tours. Laurel, let's start with you. How would people find you if they're interested in going on one of your yoga retreats or your hiking retreat?
It's just at laurelattanasio.com. So I'll let you put that in the show notes.
Yes. We'll put it in the
It's a
show
lot
notes.
of vowels. But just on my website, everything is there.
All right. And Tiffany?
You can find lots of details about our trip at thebittersweetlife.net, or you can always email us, and we're happy to go back and forth and answer questions. It's either me or Katie writing to you. We do everything ourselves, so you can always email us at bittersweetlifepodcast@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you personally.
Yes. And unlike Laurel, we only do this once a year, and we're doing it from November 1st to the 7th this year, 2026. So one chance every single year to go. And that's the chance this year, November 1st to the 7th. Overlapping All Souls Day. So we're going to do something a little bit creepy also, just in honor of that important holiday in Rome.
We're going to have a haunted Rome tour.
Yes, which we've never done, which will be super fun. I can't wait. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, we should leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us on the show, Laurel.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And until next time, this is The Bittersweet Life. I'm Katie Sewell.
I'm Tiffany Parks.
Join us again. Bye. We welcome your feedback, show topic ideas, or questions. You can always reach the show by emailing bittersweetlifepodcast@gmail.com or through thebittersweetlife.net.